are going to be loading up onto Whirlwind here for game number 5.
Oh, a little bit rough for Sting. What can he do here? We'll talk about that in a second because the map is loading. Your prediction? Is this Vortix?
Unless Sting can bring out something crazy. This is a map that is in tune with Vortix to a T.
Yes.
He will be scary on this map if he's given room.
All right, well, the game has started. Let's get into it and introduce our players. Up here in the top right is none other than Western Wolves' Sting. And, of course, you can follow his team on Twitter, Western_Wolves, I do believe.
Yes. He doesn't have a Twitter just yet, so that's
we'll have to have them get him on that.
We'll tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah. Down here in the bottom right, it is none other than the Spanish phenom Vortix. Of course, you can check him out at Karante_Vortix, and that's a 3 at the end instead of an E.
Yep.
And of course, check out Kaleris as well.
Oh.
K-A-E-L-A-R-I-S.
You're so good at that, man.
Yeah, I'm good at spelling your name now. So,
yeah.
Let's get into this game and take a look at what can be done, because we've been discussing this as well a little bit. I feel like I have a strategy for Sting.
Go, Artosis.
If I wanted to talk to Sting and he's like, Artosis, tell me what build to use, I would say, Sting, you open with 2 racks. Just is constant pressure, not like an all-in cheese, not in the middle of the map, just the walking out and killing links. Keep the economy low, like Haswab said.
Yeah, yeah.
Make a couple factories behind it, and just do that relentless, never-ending tank marine push without even medevacs, just constant marine tank. I feel like something like that has the potential to win, because if he goes to the late game again, as you said, this map has the perfect feng shui for Vortix.
It does, it does. An interior designer came in, decided, Vortix, what are you in touch with here? Are you getting that chi going? And Vortix said, I would like Whirlwind, please. Whirlwind here for Vortix is going to be his map if he can find the stability. He's actually going for a spawning pool first. He doesn't want, like, jubble racks in the middle of the map or something, which, once again, is smart by Vortix. It's not going to put him too far behind in terms of economy, and it's going to be okay.
It's not so bad. You know, you get that queen out, you get that extra production a little bit quicker. So, a good opener by him, because I think he realizes if he can get into the late game without being behind, then he should be able to win. You know, this is like literally his map. So, and Sting has to know that as well. He has to look at this map and say, this one is going to be a little bit hard on me. This is going to be the hardest map in the pool.
And look at that, Vortix actually touched that middle watchtower for just a second to make sure his opponent wasn't going for anything too crazy. Under the impression, yes, he did get the confirmation that his opponent was going for a command center as well. So Sting here, I feel as if he's going to play out the game in a normal manner. And if he is, in a normal Terran versus Zerg manner, of course, and if he is, then he needs to make huge, huge differences to how he was incorporating in the aggression and the mid-game timings against Vortix in game number 4, because otherwise, he's going to get steamrolled.
Well, he's not playing normal at all. He's adding 2 racks. Now, will he throw up gases? He might be going for like a Marine Rod or stem timing. He might be going also, okay, there you go. This is what it is. Now, this build is a little bit tricky. This is... We'll talk about that in a second, though. We do have a little bit of harassment with these links coming down, and he's not going to get a lot of intel here, really. And in fact, wow, great micro by Sting. Oh, just in the last second, losing a couple SCVs.
That's not too bad a trade there in the end for Vortix. It was looking a bit dicey, but yeah. Okay, coming back to this build that you were talking about, 4 barracks worth of production here is actually, it can hit really, really hard.
Oh, he's going to hit so hard. He may bring his SCVs, he may not. I feel like he's going to, but he's going to make a ton of oh my god, he just added another racks. Okay, this is going to be all in, I believe. I mean, you can go down and pressure with this while getting gas and then tech up to stim, combat shields, and all that good stuff. But you could also just send all your SCVs. And if your opponent doesn't have Banelings, very good chance you're going to roll through him. And this is a strong choice by Sting for sure.
And even if Vortix does have Banelings, I mean, he's shown tendencies to go for that like 640 Baneling nest here with these double gases that are now going down. Then even if he has them, Sting is still spreading very, very nicely. So it's going to be up in the air once this push comes, because it could do massive damage.
Yeah. All right, well, he is getting a couple gases. So, you know, this is not going to be like some full-on all-in from Sting. It's not going to be where he sends all his SCVs with a ton of Marines and just crosses his fingers. There is going to be a little bit later game to this if Vortix doesn't die to that first huge attack that's incoming, which is a possibility. Vortix's scouting right now is not very good. He doesn't have any lings near Sting, and that's why Sting's walking around. He's trying to prevent such a thing.
Yeah, and for now, he actually picks off the one Overlord that could have potentially given him that intel. Meanwhile, back at home, we're getting double Evolution Chamber, preventing that wall off. But this wall off was specifically designed to deal with Hellions. And right now, there's no Hellions at all. He's just moving out to the middle of the map with all his units.
I mean, there's a Roach Horn on the way, which could end up helping. But he's not going to see this till it hits his creep tumors, and right now he doesn't have any units. He only has 43 drones and 4 queens. This could do a huge amount of damage.
This push out is deadly here. Sting is actually moving forwards. The queens are actually moving back to try and deal with all of this. Marines firing at the Evolution Chambers for just a second there, but realistically, they don't really care right now. All the drones are actually being evacuated. Vortix is on the verge here of elimination. There's so many units. He's trying to bring out the roaches, but will it be out in time?
This is so many Marines. I don't know that 7 roaches can actually stop him. He's going to have to use all his drones and his queens as well. And we even have some SCVs coming in for buffering action. In fact, if he sits on those eggs, the roaches will die instantly. But in fact, the roaches are starting to pop out, and Vortix is going for it. Can he hold on?
All the drones coming off the line, but he's already killed off 27. Sting is on the verge of killing him off. He gets some queens as well. The roaches will be able to clean this up, but off the back of this, Sting takes a 35-19 worker lead.
This is absolutely huge for Sting. Vortix is in a ton of trouble. He does have 1-1 on the way, which is nice, but we have upgrades on the way for Sting as well. He's getting his +1 attack, his combat shields, and a counterattack simply won't break him. So if Sting plays this a little bit slow and a little bit defensive, as we see him doing here with double bunker, Vortix is... he's going to be at a loss. How does he fight back now?
And we never mentioned this at the beginning of the game once these upgrades started, but now they're on the way. He went for range instead of melee.
Yeah.
And this is a huge deviation. The Roach is going to put forward again to see too many Marines. They have to fall back. Oh my god, that is so many Marines. And Vortix right here, he's actually mixing up his style. If he'd have just kept probably to his original style, he could have dealt with this.
Yeah, you're completely right. If he had speedlings out, if he had gotten that early baneling nest for defense, those are things that really help there. Like, you have a baneling nest when this comes, you might just kill it off and get ahead. Yeah. But instead, here he is frantically trying to get a baneling nest. He doesn't even have any zerglings to turn into banelings, just making roaches. Now, he does have the 1-1, which will help, but there's a Marauder in there and combat shields.
Evolution Chamber goes down. That's not too bad, the pick off there for Sting. He's trying to get himself in a little bit of a good position. The Roaches actually push forwards here. Marines still have a lot of DPS regardless. And actually, I mean, the Roaches are just killing off their own creep tumor. They're really not focusing. Vortix is in a bit of a frantic panic here, and he loses more than I think he should have done.
Yeah, and he's forcing him to make roaches right now. This is great for Sting. He doesn't care about these few units. He has huge production at home. So these roaches that are being made, this is less drones for his opponent, and Sting continues to build upon his lead, I feel.
Yeah, he's getting that 3rd command center. That's going to swing him ahead just that little bit more, but he's also incorporating those Marauders in, and Marauders being incorporated in this early, whilst Vortix is sort of still committing to roaches. He needs to switch out of it. He's getting a few lings. I think sticking to roaches right now is just not the best plan. He needs to go back into his previous kind of mentality, I feel.
Yeah. Well, he's getting baneling speed now. So, I mean, this is kind of like, we can kind of look at it and say this is similar to the Ohana game.
Yeah, yeah.
He's going to have to crush armies for a bit. He's going to need Sting to stay on his aggressive tendencies and come out. Part of the problem is he already went roaches, which has forced his opponent Sting into making some Marauders, which is going to make it so much harder to crush armies because they're going to do very well against these speed banes. So, I mean, it's... at least his economy isn't quite as bad as it was at points during Ohana.
Yeah, I think it just becomes exponentially out of control right now for Sting if Vortix doesn't manage to do something. Sting is going for double drop play here. He will get spotted by an Overlord, but does Vortix really see it is the big question. And yes, he's actually moving some of his army back, I think. So the Roaches are on the way to actually deal with them.
Well, it's still a pretty scary army with 4 Marauders in it, to be honest. That's going to do a lot of damage, and In fact, he's taken out quite a few of these roaches, targeting down the queens, and he'll just get out.
That was a nice snipe there of that queen, actually. And for now, Sting, meanwhile, back at home, just getting a ton of SCV. Well, actually, he's only getting one SCV at a time here, but he's still powering out that very, very strong bio style here. Vortix, meanwhile, still sticking with that roach production with Glee Reconstitution and Speed, and Baneling's now morphing in. So his army is just basically designed to try and go for surround, try and connect with those Banelings, but he needs to deal with these Marauders very, very aggressively somehow.
He certainly does, and let's not forget that without any infestors out, he can't stop Sting from lifting into medevacs, so he can save a lot of these units no matter what right now, which is making it even harder on Vortix.
I'm loving this push out by Sting right now. Actually, all the Marauders actually surrounding the Marines here, so they won't connect too easily, but manages to pick up that. He's gonna go for the drop into his main. Oh, he's drawn him into a terrible position.
Yeah, this looks like a base trade scenario, but I don't know that it's one that Vortix can possibly win, trying to run these drones away, but a nice stem up from Sting here, blocking a lot of those drones' path. In the meantime, this big attack is coming. The SCVs are already in position, and Vortix has to somehow win now, but I don't see that happening.
No, the SCVs so well positioned, as you rightly said. Banelings roll in, they can kill off that one bunker, but with all the Marauders and Marines actually rallying up at the defenses at the main, can he bust this location? They've got a great concave. The roaches aren't necessarily firing all at the same time. They're gonna get disintegrated, and Vortix back at home as well is taking so much damage. Sting wins. GG!
Wow, Sting, a Terran that flew here and played through the open bracket, has now officially made it to the finals of the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore.
Vortix, he always comes so close, man. But eventually he runs into someone who just kind of has his number, and Sting here just exploited Vortix so well.
Sting chose his strategies so well, I have to say. It was actually quite amazing. That strategy I did not think he would do on that final map, but it worked to a T. Vortix he was so used to what he was doing before with the Marine pushouts that he didn't think to just keep sending Lings up there to try to see if something was coming, and thus, I mean, he got so far behind.
He did. That was an incredibly strong push out there from Sting, and he now advances on to the finals. Going to be taking on either Grubby or Slivko. So we're down to 1 Korean and 2 foreigners here.
A Terran, a Zerg, and a Protoss. Very fitting.
Yeah, very fitting indeed. All right, guys. I believe we are going to be sending it over to Jarrett Kale on the main stage with a little interview with our victor.
Western Wolves, Sting. Congratulations on your victory. Very well won. You've had a very hard road. Every round, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, over and over. Who would you prefer to face in the finals, and is it going to be another 3-2?
누구랑 하고 싶은지. 지금 브라비랑 슬프는 안 맞는데.
요새 테란이 저그한테 다 지잖아요. 제가 저그만 좀 많이 이기고 올라온 것 같은데 그냥 저그 마지막까지 저그 이기고 올라가고 싶어요.
Well, till now he always faced a Zerg and he advanced by beating a Zerg. So he hopes that in the final he's gonna play against Slivko because he's feeling confident against Zerg.
CVZ final could be the case. Now I'm told that this is your first time outside of Korea, not just at a foreign esports event, but your first time outside of Korea. What are your thoughts about this event compared to your experiences in Korea, and what are your thoughts on Singapore in general?
또 한국 대회밖에 모르잖아. 한국 대회밖에 안 나와서 지금 해외 대회 처음 나왔는데 여기 IEM 해외 어떻게 생각하는지 그리고 싱가포르 어떤지.
일단 사람이 너무 제 경기 보려고 오는 사람들이 아니어도 일단 사투 보러 온 사람들이 너무 많아가지고 그냥 너무 좋고 싱가포르도 그냥 딱 더운 것만 빼고는 다 좋은 것 같아요.
Well, first of all, he's not sure if all those people came to see him, but he's really thankful that there are so many people watching StarCraft 2 here, and and about Singapore, he likes everything besides it's pretty hot here.
It's very hot. Now you were with NS Hoseo previously in Korea, and now you're with Western Wolves. And you came here and you fought your way through the open bracket, or sorry, right through the qualification stages, right from the, as far as you could start back, you had to start back. What were your expectations? Did you think you would make it all the way to the finals?
또 지금 한국 팀 들어갔다가 지금 해외 팀 들어가서 여기 처음부터 뭐지 오픈 브레이크 하러 와서 지금 결승까지 올라왔는데 처음에 올 때 그 결승까지 올라가 우승할 생각 있었는지 그냥 자신 있었는지.
그냥 제가 어제 6.25 승일이 형을 이기고요. 그냥 딱 집에 가서 아니 숙소에 가서 딱 그냥 대진표를 봤는데 장민철 선수가 떨어진 거예요. 그래가지고 아 이거 잘하면 우승할 수도 있겠구나 하고 진짜 열심히 준비했어요.
Well, after he beat Yu-Gi-Oh yesterday and went back home, he saw the grid and saw that MC lost as well. So he was like, okay, because MC lost, now I think I have really good chances to win this tournament, and he prepared a lot for it.
And this isn't so much a question as a statement, but if there was a competition for best hair at this tournament, you are surely winning that one, man. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the many, many new fans I know you're gathering right now?
새로운 팬들 아마 지금 만들었다고 할 건데 뭐 말하고 싶은 거 있는지?
앞으로 제가 해외 팀에 가서 좀 해외 대회를 좀 많이 갈 것 같아요. 좀 계약을 그렇게 한 것 같아가지고 그래서 그냥 응원 좀만 많이 해주시면 좋겠고 절 믿고 그냥 절 믿고 해외 대회 보내준 그냥 이건 계약 조건이 없었는데 제가 부탁을 해가지고 매니저 타이더스랑 보스 저희 팀 보스가 그냥 사비를 내서라도 보내주겠다 했어요. 그런데 그냥 팀에서 돼가지고 그냥 믿고 보내줘서 너무 고맙다고.
Well, first of all, by signing to a foreign team with Western Wolves, he's really thankful to Western Wolves because they give him the opportunity to go to further and to other foreign events. And this IEM wasn't planned, but he asked them, and Western Wolves was kind enough to support him, to send him here, and he's really thankful for that. And he hopes that all the people out there, he will play so many other foreign tournaments that they're going to keep supporting him and keep cheering for him.
Clearly they made a very good decision. Your games were well fought, very well won. Best of luck in the finals.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. And now let's analyze the hell out of that game. Jarasar, it's on you, man.
All right, thank you very much, Jarrett. A really happy winner there in Sting. A very, very close series. And that last game, interestingly, we were talking about how after that macro game, maybe Sting would revert to something he was a little bit more comfortable with. And sure enough, we saw that Rax-heavy early game. In fact, we're going to hop straight into the game now at around the 7-minute mark where we get to see Sting move out with a little bit of initial marine pressure. Pig, why don't you tell us what's going on here?
Well, what is really important is that he did move out with this marine pressure, and when you're looking at Vortix's vision, you can see he had no idea that it was coming. His Overlord was sniped in the back of the natural, and so out came this marine aggression. He had no clue, and he was going for a very different build this game. As Artosis and Kalaris were pointing out, we saw him go for this double evolution chamber Roach Warren play, almost like a play designed for a very strong Roach mid-game, and so he was completely unprepared for this timing. It was very ballsy of Sting to choose this strategy, and he came in and there was just absolutely nothing to hold such a large number of Marines. Pulling some SCVs with the attack as well, he moved right into the natural, and Vortix basically just had to scramble to get any defense going that he could.
Nothing but 4 queens, like he had not a single unit out till that point.
Exactly. It was a really, I guess, it was a bit of a gamble on both sides.
Yeah.
Vortix was playing with fire, you know, not having as good scouting vision as he should have, not having any defense, and we saw that this allowed so many drones to go down here. I mean, this was good crisis management that he didn't lose those queens. He kept 2 queens alive. He kept 20 drones alive, but by the end of that battle, the Terran was on almost double the workers.
Yeah. So that's right. That actually left him at the end there with 19 drones versus 36 SCVs. So it was a little bit of catch-up by that point. And then we move on to the big point towards the end of the game here, where we had a little bit of an engagement and Sting deciding to lift up into the Metavacs. Pig, what do you reckon's happening here?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's got such a good macro lead, and what he does is he's got that beautiful pickup there. He's got the stim upgraded. He's got Medivacs. His opponent Vortix is stuck on no anti-air, and so there's absolutely no way he can out micro this Terran composition.
Yeah.
No matter how well he controls his units, no matter how he positions, there's no way he can deal with Sting's mobility and the raw hitting power of these Marines and Marauders. He goes for this big counter-attack, but it's just not enough. There's so many units popping out for Sting. A lot of these Banelings have to get used on these bunkers, and it's just perfect play from Sting in that follow-up from that early aggression.
Yes. Also having 2 bunkers already, and so many units like behind the barracks and the depots here that he couldn't even break through. That's, yeah, perfect decision there to load in the units and dropping to the main base.
It worked out.
And
really,
having
really well.
enough at home to defend any kind of counter
Yeah,
attack.
Exactly.
That's really important as well, just making sure he had those units there. Nice concave on the top of the ramp, and there was really nothing Vortix could do. So, guys, that's going to end a 3-2 victory for Sting there, and he's coming from 0 Terrans qualified before the start of this tournament. Well, we have one in the final.
And our predictions all been wrong. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah?
we were wrong. We're bad analysts.
but the Terran is in the final, so
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I said it'd get to game 5, but yeah, it's like Vortix has just been so strong this tournament, but Sting showing us that when he just gets into his comfort zone and does what he does best, his decision making has been sublime.
Yeah, I mean, it was like he pushed Vortix out of his comfort zone. There was only one game where I felt Vortix was comfortable, the game on Daybreak. He got to play his own game. He loves that, let's go gasless and grab our 2 gas around 5 minutes 20, take a third, get our upgrades going, really rolls out the economy in this kind of safe way. And if the Terran goes for that heavy reactor, double engineering bay, Hellion Banshee play, they let it happen. But I think he really realized immediately, okay, I can't let Vortix get in that comfort zone, and he just played his opponent perfectly.
I think you've really summed it up there, Sting, doing a very good job of steering the direction of that game. Guys, that'll do it for this particular semi-final. Thank you so much to Patriot Memory, of course, who have provided us with free high definition all weekend so that you guys can watch in crystal clear HD. But we're going to be hopping to a commercial break before our next semi-final. Grubby will be going up against Slivko.